Hello, welcome to the severe weather update for the US and Canada. So in terms of severe weather, there's nothing crazy going on, just in terms of like fire and winter weather and like some rain and stuff. So let's see what's happening. In terms of severe weather, just a marginal part of North Carolina today and some weak storms in the southwest and more storms in Florida. So tornado threat 2% there in North Carolina, so be aware today. Wind threat also 5%, and hail less than 5%. So be aware of a severe storm or two with some wind and low tornado probability, but there can be one. Let's see, isolated strong to possibly severe thunderstorms may affect central eastern North Carolina this afternoon. So be aware. Tomorrow, just some storms near the Great Lakes possible in Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, and the southwest, a storm or two, but nothing crazy. After tomorrow, in the southwest again in Florida, just some weak storms. And in terms of fire conditions, it's critical today in Nebraska and South Dakota, elevated in Utah and Wyoming, in Colorado, Kansas, parts of Nebraska, North South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Wyoming, and southeastern Montana too. So be aware um, of those fire conditions, like the dry weather plus the strong winds and some heat can make it good for fires to start. So be careful not to start any fires or anything. And let's see. So be aware, if you want to read here, pause, they have some more precise information. And be aware, and here the map shows those some flash flooding, the fire conditions, and the storms and everything. Tomorrow, some storms and rain. After tomorrow, some mixed precipitation, storms and rain. Excessive rains as light today, like I showed you, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, so be aware, especially in Virginia. Let's see, marginal from South Carolina to West Virginia, so be aware there. Tomorrow, just nothing. Day 3, they still don't have anything. Day 4, day 5, so be careful today. So precipitation shows more there in Virginia and West Virginia and southern Pennsylvania too, and North Carolina, but almost like 1.5 inches, 2 inches in Virginia. So be aware. Florida, some passing afternoon storms and some showers, and a little bit of rain in the northern Great Lakes. Tomorrow shows more throughout the Great Lakes, through Canada, parts of the east coast still, more storms through Florida, and a shower through in the northwest and the southwest, those weak afternoon storms. So be aware, but only a tiny storm. And then day 3 for Wednesday shows some build in the Gulf, Florida, and some showers in the northeast and the north. Day 4, next Thursday, more throughout Louisiana, Mississippi, kind of Florida, Alabama, some in Texas, some rain, in the northwest some more, and some isolated showers in the north. Day 5, more across Florida, close to 1.5 inches, more through Louisiana, Texas, and other areas. So be aware. Day 6, next Sunday, shows more in Florida, more near the Gulf in Louisiana, Mississippi, even still in Texas and other areas. Next Monday shows more across Florida, already showing like 3 to 4 inches in Florida. So like that's 3 inches, 2 inches, 3 inches there next Monday. So bear watch for that potential tropical storm, but still no crazy signs there. Check the tropical update to see what they have. They have like a 40% chance of development. Most models just show like a weak disorganized storm, but be aware, might cause a lot of rain. And then show some more rain for the eastern US and maybe some in the northwest. Day 1 through 7 shows in the northwest, more in Washington, Oregon, more throughout the east, especially Virginia, West Virginia from today. It shows a lot in Florida and the Gulf. This is all the days from today to next Monday, shows more than 5 inches in Florida from all the days. So be aware, a rainy week. And then in terms of temperatures, we still have that heat wave in the southwest and some colder temperatures in the north. So still in the hundreds there in the southwest, the 90s, more 90s in the south central, kind of Oklahoma, Texas, in the southeast. So be aware. for tomorrow still shows like more 100s all the way to like Northern California, 112, 110 in Arizona, Southern California, so be careful there of the heat. More 90s like in the southeast, south central, so be aware. And day one minimum temperatures from tonight to tomorrow already show like some 30s, even like 20s Fahrenheit in the highest mountains of western Montana. Some like 30s there Fahrenheit, so be aware tonight. Colder temperatures there, and we can show you more zoomed in later on in another place there. So let's see day two minimum temperatures from Wednesday, from Tuesday night to Wednesday morning. Already shows a little bit warmer, but still some 40s and 30s in the high areas in the northeast as well in the Great Lakes. So be aware. Day three maximum temperatures for Wednesday during the day shows like some 60s there in the north, 50s, and more 100s through the valleys in the southwest there in California and Arizona. So be aware. Shows 90s there in the plains in kind of Colorado, Kansas, Texas, and Florida. So be aware. Day four, like for Thursday, shows more 60s in the north, some high 50s in the mountains, or even 40s in the higher areas, but some 90s there on the southwest, 100s on the southwest, so be aware. And I don't know what's happening to this video quality here. Shows more 90s there in the Oklahoma, Texas, kind of the plains, and Florida some 80s, so be aware in those areas. And let's see, Friday still shows like 109, 108 in the southwest, so be aware of the heat there. Shows like more 70s, some 60s in the north, and some 90s there in the south central still. Let's see, day 6 maximum for like Saturday shows more 100s on the southwest, some 90s, more 90s like in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and even some high 80s in South Dakota and Nebraska, some 80s in Florida too, some 60s in the higher northeast. So day 7 next Sunday shows more 100s on the southwest, more 90s on the south central, and some 80s on the southeast. And from Saturday to Sunday during the night shows some 40s in the north, some 30s in the mountains, so be aware. And 24-hour max wind gusts shows like higher winds in Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, close to 50, 60 mile per hour occasional gusts, and shows in the plains and windy there. Be aware, that's also a contributor to the fire threat. So let's just show you something they have on the heat wave. So they have some extreme areas of heat risk throughout these days there. Florida's some extreme as well. So be careful of the heat. They say late season heat wave in the southwest and South Florida will persist at least until Friday, so be careful there. And then for Canada, nothing crazy in the prairies in terms of storms. British Columbia is kind of cold as well, so no storms. Northwestern Territory is very cold, and Ontario might be a weak storm or two in Ontario, Western Ontario, so be aware. Quebec, nothing there. Atlantic Canada is kind of quiet, so be aware. The HUR here shows like those showers and more storms for like Virginia, North Carolina, especially heavier in northern North Carolina, Virginia. In that marginal risk shows some very strong storms through central eastern North Carolina, so be aware of some gusty winds and maybe a tornado potential. It shows more rain through West Virginia, some in Pennsylvania, more in those areas, even some showers further west. A storm or two in Florida, but nothing crazy today. Tomorrow might be more stuff tomorrow afternoon, central Florida, so be aware. Tomorrow still shows some rain there through North Carolina, Virginia, especially during the morning, and still some scattered showers, a weak storm or two in the afternoon, so be aware. And we have some showers there across Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and then we have that cold front getting together across like Manitoba and Ontario. Might leave some rain northern Michigan as well, and then might continue there for tomorrow all the way into Quebec. So the HUR showing some heavy rain throughout Quebec, southern Ontario, maybe some storms, and to like Ohio, maybe a storm or two, and especially Michigan, some rain tomorrow. Northern Michigan, some areas of that front, some showers further south, and shows maybe a weak storm or two in the southwest today, and tomorrow similar thing, especially between Arizona and Mexico. So be aware in those areas. And now let's see. There's the European model. It shows that rain and storms today there. That cold front tomorrow, like I showed you in the HER, like northern Michigan, some areas of the Great Lakes, Ontario and Quebec, and be aware. And then it has like the moisture building the Gulf, might be something towards Florida next Monday, shows maybe a storm there next Monday, so we better watch. Next Tuesday and next Wednesday showing this potential going up the East Coast, but that's still a week out. We have time to monitor. Mainly quiet in the southwest, and let's see here now, like for Western Canada, it shows that big system still. Today is Monday the 30th. Between today and tomorrow Tuesday shows that big system going to British Columbia. Shows a lot of snow there, especially in the mountains, heavy, but maybe some snow drizzles in other areas. So big front there, big cyclone actually, so be careful of that snow and the heavy rain. Then until Wednesday, more snow remains there until Wednesday, and some rain. Then like Thursday shows another small system to Alaska and British Columbia, some more rain there. And next Saturday, like still some rain in southern Alaska and the mountains of Yukon, British Columbia. So be careful. Next Monday to Tuesday the 8th shows potential another system, but that's far out. There's the GFS, it shows also this big system today, the rain, the snow and everything. I'll show you the wind in a second. It shows like next Friday another system, more rain and snow there, and next weekend too potentially. So be careful in those areas. Now Eastern Canada, it shows a shower or two in Newfoundland today, or Quebec, but shows that front tomorrow there, so be aware. Some more rain, so maybe some snow drizzles in Hudson Bay, northern Quebec. This week, late this week to next week, it shows a system like in Maine and New Brunswick next Saturday with some rain. Then the European is showing like a big system next Sunday the 6th throughout like central Canada and the northern US, so we better watch that as well. But nothing crazy for now. So be aware. In terms of like wind gusts, it shows here some very strong winds with the system in Canada today, like, but mainly offshore, but at the coast is showing some very strong winds to like 96 km per gusts. Further south in British Columbia, some 72 km per gusts. This island like 77, so be careful there. But like I think this is southern Alaska, shows like some very high gusts there, but I think for you it's better like miles per hour. Some 59, 55 mile per hour gusts, 61 mile per hour gusts, so be careful. Some high gusts further north as well. Then the system continues, some higher gusts still in southern Alaska, and then like in the mountains there between Yukon and Alaska, so more than 65 mile per hour gusts. So be careful in those areas. And then the wind starts kicking up in British Columbia, further south, some 83, 80 km per hour gusts by like Tuesday, between tonight and Tuesday throughout the day, still some high gusts there. But it's like blasting a part of the cyclone, still like Tuesday afternoon, some very high winds British Columbia, southern Alaska. Then this goes like into British Columbia, maybe some high winds, some interior areas on late Wednesday and Thursday. So be careful in those areas. This potential next system Friday shows like during the afternoon and day on Friday shows some more higher gusts near British Columbia and southern Alaska, so be careful there. And then this goes, and then in the middle of the Pacific, like in the Aleutian Islands, it's showing some very big systems like going from Russia to Alaska. And then not many people live there, but there are some that do, like some cities there, so shows some very high gusts there from the system in the middle of the North Pacific, more than 117 km per gust, 67. So please be aware, like some 90 km per gust, some very high gusts with the system. this will be like some 73 mile per hour gusts, so please be aware. And then this affects some other areas of Alaska, like 51 mile per hour gusts, 46, 76 mile per hour gusts, so please be aware with those Pacific systems there. This keeps going. Some areas of southern Alaska in the mainland might get some 55 mile per hour gusts, and then yeah, and this kind of dissipates, but still some high gusts there. And this is the time of year that those cyclones start forming, so this will be like a trend. A lot of these cyclones passing by every week. So it shows like the GFS Wednesday, Thursday, shows the system getting together near Eastern Russia on Thursday, so very high gusts there. Then towards like the Aleutian Islands, like Friday the 4th, so some very high gusts. So be careful in those areas. Now the European again for the mainland here, because from like Wednesday, the European already starts showing some very high gusts near northern Montana and southern Alberta. So let's see, further north into Alberta, some higher gusts, and Washington might get some gusts. But it continues like in Wyoming on Wednesday the 2nd, Montana, and then especially like further north as the system gets together, central northern Canada. So it shows like some very high gusts throughout northern Manitoba and Nunavut. So even before, because today's Monday the 30th, it shows already some very high gusts there, as I showed you in the map for the US before. But in Canada today, shows all the way to like 103 km per hour gusts. This keeps going through Manitoba, some very high winds, moves into northwestern Ontario, some high winds, and Nunavut, so very big winds from Nunavut, northern Quebec, but some gusty winds, and this lasts until like Wednesday. Some northwestern territories might get some, even northeastern Saskatchewan, so be aware for Nunavut and those areas with this big system. And like next Saturday the 5th starts showing some high winds near Washington, southern British Columbia, and those areas like Montana and Alberta, so beware. But this really gets together and then like later into next Saturday across northern Montana, northern Idaho, southern Alberta and British Columbia, so please be aware. This keeps going. This like next Saturday the 5th into next Sunday. Next Sunday is really showing like some higher gusts. Saturday night, like Saturday afternoon to Sunday, then this moves on east. So we'll keep monitoring that, but this information will still change. So I know this video is already long, but let's just zoom in a little bit further. Those temperatures tonight. So from today's Monday the 30th, from tonight into tomorrow, shows in Wyoming some 29 Fahrenheit, in the higher mountains 30, 29, so like 31 Fahrenheit too, like 43 in the far east across the main cities of Montana. These negative temperatures are mainly the mountains, but show some negative temperatures in Idaho and Montana, some mountains in Montana there, so be aware. Tomorrow warms up during the day, and at night again shows potentially some lower temperatures in Colorado and some other areas. And now let's see. And now in Canada, there are those very cold temperatures. So tonight into tomorrow already shows like those very cold temperatures across Alberta, British Columbia, -2, -1, mainly in the mountains. The low lying seas are still like 6-7 degrees during the night. That's mainly in the mountains, but show like 0, 1 degree. Some other mountains, British Columbia, northern British Columbia, -2, -4. In a big area of northern British Columbia, there are some cities that are like 0, 1 degree. But northwestern territories in Yukon are really showing some like very negative, -13 already. This tonight to tomorrow, -9, so very Arctic-ish already there. Alaska, negative temperatures are a big portion of Alaska, especially in the mountains, and so be aware. Very cold there, right? In northwestern territories, northern Nunavut, so be aware of those cold temperatures. Let's see. During the day warms up a little, but not much, and at night goes all the way down to 100 to -14 again, -1, So the negative temperatures all in that blue for Alaska, parts of Yukon, British Columbia, and even northern Alberta, trying to show some negative -3 during the night. So be aware in those areas. Eastern Canada is still kind of fine, but might be some lower temperatures from time to time during the night, like 1 almost 0 degrees. Some areas of Labrador and Newfoundland. So be aware. In terms of warmth, there's not much warmth there now, but there shows some little bit warmer temperatures ahead of the cold front tomorrow Tuesday, but nothing crazy. Maybe the southern prairies might get warmer, but it does show a lot of cold there trying to dig down. This like next Thursday shows very cold, even northern Manitoba, Saskatchewan, so be aware in those areas. And now, two last things. So the rain accumulation shows by the European a lot there in British Columbia, southern Alaska, like Nunavut shows more from that. Might be snow as well, but shows more than 75 millimeters in Nunavut, northern Nunavut, more in Quebec and Ontario from that cold front, some in Maine and New Brunswick, and Newfoundland some showers, but in British Columbia might be heavy, like 140, 160 millimeters. In Alaska, more than 160 millimeters. So be careful there with the rain. And just to give you an idea of this, in inches for southern Alaska, it will be like some 6 inches potentially in some areas. So be aware. And let's see, there's the GFS as well. Wait, it shows like until Saturday shows more than 100 millimeters there. Like southern Alaska more than 200 millimeters near British Columbia, so be aware in that island as well, more than 180 millimeters. More for Nunavut, northern Manitoba, some rain and some areas there, so be careful. Now snowfall until next Saturday, the GFS show more snow northern Manitoba, Saskatchewan, parts of Alberta and British Columbia, southern Alaska. The GFS even shows snow between Labrador and Quebec, like some light snow there. Next 5 days. Next 3 days doesn't show much there, so this is like between Thursday and Saturday. Shows there. Nunavut, there's that system now, lasting until like next weekend. Some snow still like 54 centimeters, more snow there. In the Arctic, of course, shows a lot of snow. And British Columbia and Alaska, it's really showing like 144 centimeters, 138 centimeters. So be aware in those mountains, British Columbia, northern British Columbia, Yukon, southern Alaska, and northwestern territories, some snow. This is the GFS. The European shows a lot throughout southern Alaska, like the mountains of British Columbia, and even outside the mountains shows a lot. Some areas of 89, close to 100 centimeters. Some in Yukon, Northwestern Territories, and that's snow in Nunavut from that system. Northern Saskatchewan and Manitoba might have some snow too, some flurries, and like in Northwestern Territories, and even shows some flurries in Quebec there. Maybe some lake effect from Hudson Bay, and northern Nunavut. So be aware too that there's the icon, shows some flurries there, some more snow, and the mountains in the west. So be careful with these systems, stay safe. And now, just for some warning reference, that shows some warnings British Columbia, Nunavut, Manitoba. So let's see what they are about, if it works here. I don't think you. So British Columbia, some wind and snowfall warnings there because of the system going to the coast I showed you today. Manitoba, wind warnings, rainfall, wind because of that system there. New Brunswick, some frost advisories, so be aware there. Nunavut, rainfall, fog advisory, but mainly the rainfall. Quebec, some wind advisories, mainly in northern Quebec. Saskatchewan, wind. So be aware of that wind today. And in the US, we have some freeze watches in Wyoming, freeze warnings in northern Idaho and Montana because of those low temperatures, red flag warnings in a big portion of the northern plains and Rockies, especially from northern Kansas to Montana, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wyoming too. excessive heat warnings in the southwest, heat advisories for California, some heat watches and some red flag warnings there. Near Oregon, some flood watches and advisories on the east, heat advisories southern Florida, it's like air quality in Texas. So wind advisories for North Dakota, Minnesota, and below those red flag warnings, might be some wind advisories, those areas too, even a wind warning in Montana. So be aware of those areas. Stay safe.